Friends and compatriots, we live in dark times. Adults and children alike are being subjugated to electric shock by taser, having their bones broken, and being detained for simple misjudgments and errors, such as dropping a birthday cake, skateboarding, or even just for speaking their minds. Our election system is strife with fraud and has been corrupted beyond the point of fair and equal elections. When our election system fails to count thousands upon thousands of votes, disenfranchising minorities by denying them the right to vote, we cannot, with any sense of better judgment, say our votes count and our leaders elected. Our dollar, our currency, is becoming more worthless by the day. The IMF and others are now publicly attacking what is left of our middle class. They say that our dollar is overvalued, even though the dollar has lost over half of its value against the euro since 2001. We have an unconstitutional currency, not being backed by gold or silver. We have a private entity that controls it. Our entire fiat-based monetary system is illegal and has now brought into fruition the makings of a North American currency, indeed a union of the North American continent. Friends, compatriots, don't believe for even a moment that this was not by design. Our federal government has become out of control. Our presidents have lately, especially in the case of George Walker Bush and his neoconservative groupies, become decadent, careless, thoughtless, and indeed puppets. Each Congress has become more worthless than the last. Our judicial branch is corrupt as a lot of them. Because our federal government has lost touch with reality, has lost touch with the body and base for its power, we now have a situation where our military can patrol our streets, arrest civilians, and detain them for an indefinite period of time. These powers were given to the executive branch by Congress with bills, legislation such as the John Warner's Defense Act, the USA Patriot Act, and the Military Commissions Act, to name just a few. Such a list could go on forever. An equally lengthy list of atrocities committed against we the people by the hands of government could be easily produced as well. Right now there exists a situation where an elderly couple is being subjugated to torture and imprisonment for asking questions and demanding answers. This couple, Ed and Elaine Brown, has been punished by the all-too-common kangaroo court system for not paying a federal income tax. They have paid all other applicable taxes. The federal income tax, contrary to popular belief, does not pay for goods and services that the citizens of this once great country receive. The federal income tax helps pay down the debt that was created by our illegal monetary system. Our government pays a private institution, corporate entities, to print and coin our money. Ed and Elaine did not pay their federal income tax because they could not find a law which required them to do so. They asked the government to show them the law. They were ready, able, and willing to pay the tax as soon as the law was produced. The law was never produced, so they did what any red-blooded American would do. They did not pay the phantom tax. It is important to point out that the law was not shown to the jury. The jury was instructed in such a way that Ed and Elaine would surely be found guilty. This is how our kangaroo courts conduct themselves. I do not bring Ed and Elaine up for their most honorable and virtuous manner in standing up for what is right, just, and legal. They are among many who have been imprisoned for such activities. However, thousands of others have been found not guilty by courts thanks to an educated citizenry. I bring up Ed and Elaine Brown because of their current situation. Ed has been treated with cruel and unusual punishment. He has been tortured and nearly killed by poisonous gases. He is not okay. Ed has been subjugated to 15 or so hours of sensory deprivation. This is an act of torture, as extended deprivation can result in extreme anxiety, hallucinations, bizarre thoughts, depression, and antisocial behavior. Victims of these side effects or ailments are not likely to ever recover. Ed Brown is being tortured. We can only pray Elaine Brown is being treated humanely. They both have been imprisoned for a non-crime. Why? Because they asked a question? Because he did not pay the federal income tax? Friends, compatriots, ask yourself, if they were your parents, your children, or your friends, what would you do about it? I ask myself that, and I cannot publicly tell you what my answer has been. I've struggled with it for the last couple of days. But this is not about me. This is about all of us. As the American Resistance is a collective of individuals who desire freedom, a way of life that once existed in the United States of America, based on the principles spelled out in our beloved Constitution. Our Constitution has been discarded by the federal government. They have apparently retired it. However, we do not feel that the supreme law of the United States can be retired so easily. We demand the release of our friends, compatriots, and all others who have been imprisoned for unconstitutional crimes, crimes that are non-crimes. We demand the release of our political prisoners. We demand that our federal government stop their practice of torture. We demand reform and accountability. We have not the privilege to abolish this corrupt government. We have an inalienable right and the responsibility to do so when we realize this government no longer serves us. Friends, compatriots, let it be known that we stood for justice and did not lay down our arms. Do not force our children and grandchildren to ask why we did nothing when we were in a position to do so. Let us not hand over our offspring or our brothers' and sisters' offspring to the hands of a police state. Instead, let us give them freedom, give them a taste of true liberty, something we have yet to taste for ourselves.